Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. We have a very wet, very rainy day here in Northern California. We are getting just about 2 inches of rain. I don't know if we're gonna hit 2 inches, but it's getting close. It's been raining basically nonstop for over 24 hours now. And I have to say, I'm kind of enjoying it. I've been hanging out inside, drinking hot tea, I've got candles lit, and I've actually been going over videos from my Show Me Your Garden series. Now, my Show Me Your Garden series I've been doing, I think 3 years now, where I've asked all of you to submit videos of your gardens so that I can post them and we can get ideas and tips and tricks and advice from other gardeners in different zones. I garden in zone 9B, but I know there's a lot of you that don't garden in my same zone. So this has been a really, really fun series, and I'm putting some more videos together, not only with videos that have been submitted this year, but also videos that have been submitted previous years, because I haven't been able to show all these wonderful videos. So I'm excited to kind of have the chance and go back and look at older videos. So thank you to you all that have submitted those videos. So speaking of videos that have been submitted in previous years, I wanted to show you all this one video. This is from a gardener in Kansas City, Missouri, and his name is Carl. Hi, Carl. Carl submitted his video last year, and unfortunately I couldn't use it because the length of the video was a little bit too long for my compilation videos. But I couldn't get this garden out of my mind. I kept thinking about this garden and thinking, man, I wish there was a chance that I could go to Kansas City and visit him there and film this video, because I thought I enjoyed seeing this garden so much. I thought a lot of you would enjoy it as well. And on this rainy day, I just thought, why don't I just show it to you all? So this is Carl's garden from Kansas City, Missouri. He is a koi fan. You'll see in his back garden, he has a beautiful koi pond that he has planted all around. He's a really, really impressive gardener, and it's fun to listen to him talk. So this is a little bit different kind of video that I normally do for Show Me Your Gardens. But like I said, I just couldn't get this garden out of my mind. Carl is zone, I want to say it's zone 6. I'm going to put on the screen right now. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I'm going to put on the screen right now if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's zone 6 in Kansas City, Missouri. So enjoy.
Good morning, Janie. My name is Carl. I live in Kansas City, Missouri, 6B, because we are in the core of the city. We live in an area known as Brookside. It is a somewhat desirable part of our community, where we have a lot of 1920s, 1930s style homes and bungalows, 2 stories, as you can see here, next door neighbors and across there. My backyard is a very small area, and anyone in Kansas City will tell you Brookside does not have very big yards. So we have maximized ours to take advantage of gardening, number 1, and number 2, our hobby. And obviously I'm starting out on this side of our patio. You can see here, this is our koi pond. We do have a shade cloth. Obviously it serves its purpose of providing shade to the koi come mid-afternoon, because the sun does start over here. We're shaded until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we get the hot, blazing afternoon sun. But the shade cloth does provide shade to our koi. Our koi pond's roughly between 5,000 to 5,200 gallons. It is approximately 19 and a half to 20 deep, or depth as far as the depth of the pond. The depth is 4.5 feet. As you can see here, as I step down into our shaded yard, this is what our koi pond looks like in July. We have the lithrum. This is known as thalia, but it's also a freshwater canna is what it is. It does perennialize. We cannot put pond plants in with the koi for 2 reasons. One, it just doesn't get enough sun to kind of support those. And number 2, when you're dealing with koi, the rule of thumb is, or what we refer to as koi toys. So if you put pond plants in, they become toys for the koi, and they will destroy your plants. So we avoid all of that. The shade cloth, as I said before, provides shade, but it also is a deterrent for 2 of our problematic predators. One being the owls, We do have some great big barn owl, great horned owls that sit on the corner here. I kind of fantasize about eating our poor babies. And then along the fence here, as well as up on top of the roof, we've had a problem with blue heron as they migrate north to south. So the shade cloth provides some of that protection. You'll see that I have the bottom drains have also air stones in the bottoms of those. Those provide two things: one, oxygen, and also it disturbs the water surface, so it makes it a little more difficult for the predators to get our babies. As you can see here, most of these koi are 2 to 3 years old. There may be a few in there that are a little bit older. We have some that have been, like our dot here. She is a Daihatsu koi. I know this is a gardening channel, but these are our babies, our water babies. These are water puppies, garden jewels, you name them whatever you want. But they're very friendly. Some of these, like Julius, was born in the pond. We have Oreo over here. It's a Utsuri. And then you'll notice that we have a bunch of other different ones. We work with a breeder and that is a judge for Japanese koi shows in Japan. And so when he has things that are available to us, he lets us know, and then we kind of pull out some of the ones that we want to remove from the pond and obviously curate our jewel. As you can see here, keep in mind there are a few things as I move through this garden. This is a work in process, so this entire part back here and along here is getting completely revamped and reworked. We have struggled with this area for a while to figure out what we want to do, and now we've officially kind of mapped out what we're doing in this section and this section. This is our pump house. It serves as our filter systems for the bottom drains, as well as the jets that encompass these two big bowls, as well as you'll see over here, our goldfish pond. This is our patio. As you can see here, got a package. But this is what we've set up. We have a very narrow, shallow patio, but our primary purpose out here is to kind of sit and enjoy the fish. And so as we kind of migrate here, you'll see that I have some beautiful pots that have evergreens, as well as the mini vista petunias. Back there, you'll see that we kind of have the same thing over here, mini vistas, as well as paradise and silver bells, I think is the name that's on that other one. So those are the kind of a combination of annual pots, as you can see, kind of floating there. As I look and kind of span this direction, I'm sorry if I'm moving quickly. We have our little seating area underneath our umbrella. This is, again, kind of the back portion of our house. We have a quart and steel planter bed with some basil secondary. And then back over in this section, you'll see this is what will get revamped. But these are just going to kind of move back into this area. Since we don't use these doors, they're mainly kind of as a decorative purpose, but also functional. The only time we would ever need in there is if we have to access the filtration system for any repair work or anything like that. So they don't get used very often. And so we've made the decision to push our perennials back that way, remove leave the stones there, but just kind of intersperse with some annual plantings, as well as these perennials. We typically have much larger salvia. They've been struggling this year to get to some size, but we do have frequent visitors, hummingbirds specifically, to our backyard. And so we try and encourage that. Because we are, with our koi and our goldfish pond, koi are very particular about water quality. And because of that, we do not use any pesticides in our backyard. All of our fertilizers are organic, and because we are not using our pesticides, that can create some issues. But this is probably the first year that we have found that we're not struggling as much as we have had in the past. I've started using predatory insects. You'll see in some spots where you'll see there's some cobwebs over here on the fire chief arborvitae. That particular one, we do have those, like I was saying, the spiders, but I've released another beneficial insects and mites to kind of combat some of the problems that we've been experiencing. We'll see what some of that has caused for us on our boxwood, specifically with spider mites, when we've had some hot, dry summers. Typically so right now today is kind of a nice, we've got a breeze today, which is fortunate. But when we start off into the weekend, going into next week, our temperatures are set to be about 100 to 108 degrees. And that is without our humidity. Once we add in the humidity index, so this real temperature will get to 100 to 105. And our heat index with humidity can approach 118 to 120. I would much rather experience dry heat rather than the hot, humid heat. So anyway, as we move forward, again, it's kind of duplicating the potting and plantings here. As you can see here, this is the path that I was talking about. This path and this bed and this section all through here is going to get completely reworked, as is this border area. We struggle a lot in this area because, as I said before, we've got the sun that comes in at the hottest part of the day. We struggle with not being able to maintain grass along here. This is the first year that it actually looks pretty good. The other issue that we struggle with in this area is we have insufferably heavy clay soil. And I know clay soil is wonderful. However, this is potting heavy clay soil. In fact, that is why the goldfish pond was put there, because when we actually put that in ourselves, we rented an excavator, and 90% of the soil was heavy clay soil that you could make pottery from. So we've done a lot of amending, but then the other counter to that is because this has so much shade for most of the day, the grass has struggled, because it either gets super wet and or super dry. We installed a sprinkler system 3 years ago, and that has really been a game changer for us. It's been the last piece that we've had to do to complete, and so all of our beds have drip irrigation, including around the pond area, and then we have 3 sets of little sprinklers back here that kind of water and maintain the grass. We do have these tall trees back here. We keep these pruned into a hedge. As you can see here, well, probably can't because they go green all the way up to the top. They're about 30 feet tall. We keep them pleached or pruned back. And in the fall, we'll come back in and we'll kind of do a heavy prune when they go into dormancy, so that come next year when they flush out in spring, we'll have that pushed back a little bit. We had somebody do that for us last fall, and they didn't take them back as far as we would have hoped. So anyway, this area back here, dry, heavy shade. And it's been hard to find plants that work accompanying this thing here. So this has been kind of this area from approximately here all the way over to here has been a 3 to 5 year, what are we going to do with struggle. So like I said before, we do have the hydrangea. We will be adding more of these hydrangeas, some smaller ones in through here, pulling these forward, leaving this, and then we'll add more of the hydrangeas back in this section. And I think then we'll feel like we've accomplished what we're hoping to accomplish back here. As I pan over this direction, you'll see that this is our side yard. The house is surrounded by a boxwood hedge on this area, and then we have a boxwood bump out, and then lined with more boxwood. This is a bluestone. The surround is all bluestone. This, like I said before, this one is 4.5 feet deep, 6 feet by 8 feet, straight down, center block, concrete. The plumbing system, we have a bottom drain in this one as well, and the skimmer's back over here, so that kind of helps with skimming. We have 2 pumps in here, one that goes back to our filter house, and then you'll see those air bubbles that are over there also is the same air pump that provides air circulation here as well. Ooh, slow down, as over here. This is still a work in process, as I said before. We do have the pot, and it's starting to do what it's supposed to. We do have our junipers that we have hedged in the fall. They look terrible right now, but trust, they actually look better. They've kind of grown back in after we've done a heavy prune. We kind of neglected those for a couple of years. So rule of thumb, if you're going to be hedging your evergreens like we did here, make sure that you do it on a more regular basis, because you do end up with some of these brown spots. And so we're now on a standard routine to make that happen. So this is the side yard, or the back side yard going out to the front of our house. Notice that we've got a little shade porch here, great container, surrounded by boxwoods, and yeah. So take you out here. We have red obelisks along here, again the boxwood hedge, and then this is the gate going out to the front yard / side yard. As you can see, we're mid-afternoon. It is full sun out here. This particular side yard has hydrangea, the bigger hydrangea here, and this one here. They're weeping. They'll be fine. These bloom are blue, and this one we just replanted because it was struggling in another area, so it looks a little rough, but it should fill in this space here quite nicely. Boxwood hedging along here. Quickfire hydrangeas underplanted with a juga, and then this goes up to our street. So this is my view looking up our street, and as like I said before, this is Brookside, so we have a lot of tree-lined streets. We have a maple, Japanese maple here, and a Japanese maple here, and the hollies. And as we move forward, it's a little bright, so I apologize, but as I move forward here, you'll see that I have the little lime hydrangeas. Yeah, the little lime hydrangeas, and then because I can't grow water plants in the back because of the shade and the fish, I do have bowls, and I appreciate and love my bowls. Notice here that we do have a slope. So this area here, we've just recently revamped with mulch. We have a difference of opinion in our household, and I tend to like plantings like this. Also, by the way, all these geraniums that you see here, and over here, and then on the side yard of the butterfly, were all planted from seed by me. So to your viewers, plant seeds of geraniums. They're super freaking easy. But back to this, I'm more of a, let's fill the space. My partner tends to have and appreciate more of the open space. So our compromise is, yeah, we'll just leave it there. As I span this direction here, this is our front yard area. Like I said, this is the front east side. This is the west side. A few years ago, we had to redo we had a block wall that collapsed. This is our driveway, and it comes down, and it collapsed, so we had to rebuild this whole thing. But as you can see here, we've got our boxwoods, and these are all David Austin roses. These are only year 2 for them, so they're getting there, but they're struggling a little bit. Like I said, we do have drip irrigation in here, and last year was kind of a learning curve for us, and so I didn't do it justice. One thing I found interesting, we do struggle with Japanese beetles, specifically on our roses, as well as our maples. And what I found interesting is, while a lot of my neighbors struggle with Japanese maples or Japanese beetles, knock on wood, I don't have a problem with them, even on my roses. And here's what I'm thinking: 2 things. One, because I don't use pesticides in the yard and we do all organic fertilizers, I think that's part of it. When we do drains, when we do water changes on the ponds, both the goldfish and the koi pond, we repurpose those onto our lawn areas and make sure that we're repurposing them. But oddly enough, I think that this water fountain here, it's a water fountain / bird bath. This gets used continually. In fact, I can have 2 to 3, 4 birds at a time, and the robins have been kind of sunning themselves and resting in them on really, really hot days. But oddly, I think that because of this, I don't struggle with Japanese beetles, because they are, because those beetles are snacks to the birds, and because this is getting frequented so frequently, I don't have pressure from Japanese beetles, which is weird. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm going to stick to it and say and pretend that that's what's happening, but there's got to be some reason, right? This is eventually going to be reworked, and this whole front will be all boxwoods coming down, which is what the intent is for that. This bed here has been reworked again this year. We've struggled because it's underneath a sweet gum tree, and for your viewers, please do not plant a sweet gum tree where there are sidewalks or you're going to be walking. In 20 to 30 years, you will thank me. These trees were probably put in the 1940s, 50s, maybe not quite, but it would have been an urban renewal project. And this entire street, as you can see going up my street, it has a lot of these, and they drop gumballs 12 months out of the year. So I span this way, you can see our driveway as it goes down, and this is the front bed looking up to our house, and the front bed over on this side. So because we were trying to kind of maintain some, I've got a boxwood issue here, we've kind of made some decisions because we want to make sure that we're native specific, or at least trying to be. I've got my Bobo hydrangeas here, which are doing extremely well. This is year 3 for them, so they're looking much better than usual, along with the Wajula and this wasabi verbinum. I love this plant. I wish that Proven Winners had not just taken that off the market. It's a great plant. But this is our butterfly garden. It abuts next to our neighbors, which I have wonderful neighbors that I'm able to kind of work with in taking over their space over on this side. So this goes back into our backyard. But as you can see here, and I apologize for the brightness because I know it's going to be terrible, but it is what it is, right? This is set for a butterfly habitat. So we have a lot of plants that are specific to pollinators, butterfly bushes. You'll see that I've got annual plantings in here, as well as a multitude of other plants, another red obelisk, a verbena. This is loosestrife, which I know is, this is it's a sterile variety. The bees absolutely love this plant, so we keep it in here along with some agastache. And as we kind of span this way and move our way into more of the butterfly garden area, you'll see that we have the hibiscus over here that I've moved from over here to my neighbor's side, and we just kind of round out the plantings. Again, more of those seeded geraniums. All the marigolds are seeded by myself. These plants I just recently moved and divided. This whole thing we're going to continue to work and develop this space here. But this is the Sideyard. That is our butterfly garden. We are a certified butterfly sanctuary. I think that got missed because these marigolds got a lot larger than I thought they would. But I have my habitat way station on there. We do have a number of beneficials back in that area for the butterflies to put their little caterpillars on. You'll see it's pretty active back in this section of the garden. Take a walk, go back into this direction. See, I've got butterflies. I know those are the cabbage ones, but this is just a haven for all of the bees and all the pollinators. This will persist until fall. Yeah. The Patio that's here, that was not supposed to get that big. So we're probably going to I don't know how we'll move that. I've moved one before and it's not easy. Please note, as I come around this direction, this is our side yard. We have another water bowl. This is our locust bowl, as well as water lettuce. And there's some water lilies in there, hyacinth, and we actually put some parrot feather in there after we had put that in the goldfish pond. And while I had to move it from there because they basically destroyed it, but in doing so, I don't know if we can find one or not, but we've got some little baby ones in here. That's always exciting when we have little baby fish. Yeah, so this is a great bowl. It holds about maybe 200 gallons, 150 to 200 gallons. If you don't have it, if it has just a simple pump, it's a great thing. Water bowls are important to have. This does serve as a watering way station for the birds as well. So again, every place that I have plantings, I have water. Oh, sorry, my air conditioner just kicked on. More of the more annual planties, agastache, or not agastache. Yeah, just lost my train of thought. And then this is the last portion of this over here. More of a raised planter bed with more of the geraniums, marigolds, a Japanese maple, and then kind of pan this direction. This one was planted this year, this Japanese, or this rose, climbing rose, another climbing rose here. And just looking over to my neighbor's side yard, I've got a couple shrubs that I've planted that should start growing up eventually and taking and establishing themselves. Again, notice we've got more of the Liliatras, and just, I mean, it's just, this is why we plant. And I feel like when you are trying to be ecological and trying to do things for our native friends, as you can see here, that if you can keep pesticides down to a minimum, the better you are. Ooh, he almost hit me in the face. I do have some Asiatic lilies. So, at any rate, I just wanted to make a short video, kind of show you what my side yard, what my yard looks like. It's very small. It's an urban planting, but you can pack a lot into a little bit of space. And yeah, so again, my name is Carl, and I live in Brookside, or Kansas City, and the subdivision is Brookside. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.
So see what I mean? Carl's garden has everything. He's got koi. He's got 2 different ponds of koi. He's got beautiful perennials, beautiful annuals, beautiful water features. The water plant fountain in the front, I just thought was so very cool. A butterfly garden, hydrangeas. Carl, awesome. I love it. And I love that you and your partner kind of have a little argument about how many plants you're going to plant. Carl, you know I'm on your side. You know I'm on your side. So a huge thank you, Carl, for submitting this video again last year. I'm sorry it took so long for me to show it. And there's a lot of you that have submitted your videos, and I'm working on compiling them all together. So you guys should hopefully see more Show Me Your Gardens videos coming up in the future. If you have a video you want to submit, I will put the link in the description down below. I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.